things that I might want you to know about gardenias is that there's no flower that smells or looks like a gardenia. Gardenias are beautiful. The smell of the wonderful bloom is just, for me anyway, intoxicating. I just love it. After all these years, there's still nothing I'd rather put my nose to than a gardenia.
Hey everybody, welcome to the BloomCast podcast, and we're down here in Apopka, Florida today to visit with Jerry's Gardenias. They are a supplier to the BloomNet wholesale plant program, so we're going to talk with some of the folks behind the business and give you a tour of the facility. So stay tuned. Hey everyone, I'm with Jerry Kirkland of Jerry's Gardenias. Jerry, how long have you been in business?
We started in February of 1976 and have been here continuously operating since that time.
And are you guys a family business?
I started the business, but I raised all of my kids. I have 9 kids, and all of them got their opportunity to come here and work and earn some money for after school and whatever. And today I have 3 of my children, one of which is Rob, who has been with me for 30 years. This is his full-time employment. I have a part-time daughter, but everyone else are people in the community. But we started, and our whole goal was to grow the best florist grade gardenia that we could grow. And we started developing. In the beginning, it was mostly all florist and wholesale florist customers, and we grow a floral grade gardenia, and it just worked. So year after year, season after season, we're still here.
So how much space do you take up in Apopka? how large is this operation?
Well, we only own about 15 acres here in Apopka, but 13 of that 15 is actually under cover. So if they're not roads or boundaries, we have 13 acres of propagation and growing ground or buildings here, and everything is off the ground. Nothing, it's all on gripper wire. There's nothing that sits on the ground, and that helps us to grow a better plant and to keep it cleaner and more pest free. So,
what does it take to grow a gardenia, to get it to market, and how long does it take and all that? Could you provide some insight and detail into that?
Yeah, I can. Every plant that we grow comes from a tip cutting. We don't use seeds, so we have stock plants that we take tip cuttings. We have to root that cutting, which can take 8 weeks to 12 weeks. Then that tip cutting has to be transplanted into a grow pot. Then that grow pot has to be nurtured and developed for months, because we actually have to prune them. We call it pinching, but we prune that plant most of the time 3, 4, and on the larger plants even 5 times. Every time you prune it, then you're holding that plant back, and it takes another couple of months for it to grow. So, and you just, the important things are to cut it on time, plant it on time, know what time of the season you're in. If you cut it too late, the plant won't bud. If you cut it too early, it'll just flush out on you, and you won't get the quality of plant that you want. It's just, I don't want to say it's so intense, but it is definitely something that we pay attention to week by week.
Yeah. Because
the weather affects you, the rain, how hot it is, how cool it is.
So you're at the mercy of Mother Nature, like most growers, but
yeah, everything out here. Being a shade grower, we don't have the comfort or the security of having a hard cover over our product.
Given that process, what is the actual grow season, and then when are gardenias usually available for florists to get from you to
Okay,
sell to the public?
that's a great question.
Yep.
For us to grow a florist grade plant, we feel like it actually takes us about 18 months to go
Okay.
from that tip cutting to a product that we can ship.
Mhm.
Um, the availability could run from, say, mid-November through the end of April. And we'd like to say May, but I'm always tentative about that because as the temperature in Florida goes up, the plant tends to go vegetative. As it goes vegetative, it won't hold the bud. So even as hard as we try, we're still at the mercy
Mhm.
of Mother Nature. The hotter it gets, the harder it gets.
So the airing of this episode is quite appropriate because
Yes.
they're available now, and we're airing this obviously in late March.
Yep.
So we do have several weeks
Oh yeah.
in order for you
We're
to grab
for
these.
the next
Yeah.
4 to 6 weeks. We're
Yep.
probably safe. After that, then we'll communicate. Bud count is going down.
Yeah.
Be careful, because the last thing we want to do is ship a
Of
plant
course.
that doesn't work for the florist.
We're selling these to our florists.
Mhm.
Are there any post purchase tips that you could provide them that they could make sure that their gardenias last well as they merchandise this to their customers?
That's an excellent question. What I would say that a gardenia wants to be moist. It doesn't want to sit in water, but it needs to be moist. Down here, we're in an atmosphere to where we have sometimes 90–95% humidity. We ship the plant, it goes some places to where maybe it's 35% humidity.
Mhm.
If you want them to stay healthy, you're going to have to help it a little bit by misting foliage. But it's not a big deal. It's not hard,
Mhm.
but it's necessary to do. They want to be in the best light that you can provide for them. They're a great patio plant. They love windows.
Mhm.
If you take a gardenia and put it in a corner to where it can get no sunlight, it's going to suffer.
Okay.
So light
Mhm.
and water, and like any plant, a little air movement is good,
Mhm.
but it doesn't want to be in a hot
Okay.
draft or a
Okay.
cold draft.
Okay.
So almost human. We don't want to be wet. We don't mind being a little
Just right.
moist. That's right. And I
Goldilocks.
say it with a joke, but sometimes plants are like pets.
Yeah.
If we want them to be happy and healthy,
Mhm.
we're going to have to pay attention to them.
So are there any really cool fun facts about gardenias that our florists could share with their customers to,
Well,
pique interest in a purchase?
a gardenia is known for that dark glossy leaf,
Mhm.
and which is beautiful, but the big point is the smell of the bloom. And there's nothing on the earth that I've ever smelled,
Mhm.
stuck my nostrils to, that I thought compared to it. And there's lots of beautiful flowers, but I've never found anything that smells like a gardenia. They're stunning to look at.
Mhm.
They're beautiful. They have a waxy leaf. The bloom itself, it almost looks artificial. They're waxy, but the smell is just one of a kind. So that's how I would sell it. If you want to smell something great and
Mhm.
different, this is something to smell.
Please share with our audience, why do you love growing gardenias so much?
It gets a little emotional for me, to be honest with you. My dad, who was a World War II vet, fought in Europe in the Second War, came home, and at that time, when he came home in the 40s, there weren't really any jobs
Mhm.
in Central Florida. You were in the nursery business or the orange business. And being as we weren't owners of any business, he was the hardest working guy I ever knew. And so watching him, I gained an appreciation for, number one, just hard work.
Mhm.
If there's an issue, we're not going to sit down and cry about it. We're going to go to work. We're going to figure it out. Right. The second part of it was because after I got out of the military, there were no jobs. Guess what? There were the nursery business or there was the citrus business. And so that Walt Disney wasn't here. There was none of this was here. So I just woke up, my wife and I sat down at the dinner table one night and decided, well, if we're going to get somewhere, we better go to work. And so we made some sacrifices and we bought this little piece of property and we started. And when you're doing something that creates something that you can't just go pick it up. You have to nurture it, take care of it, follow a plan and a program that involves water and spray and fertilizer. And even more than that, sometimes if it's cold, guess who's out here at night? If it gets too warm early, we're opening up the poly to get the heat off of them. The passion probably is in that, just that great desire to create something, to be, it sounds a little whatever, but it's Jerry's Gardenias.
Yes.
It's Jerry's Gardenias. This isn't just Gardenias.
It's
your Jerry's Gardenias. And if I'm going to put my name on it, I want it to be great. I don't want it just to be average. I don't want it to be okay. I want it to be the best that I can do. And you get to the end of a crop and you see what you've got left, what you had to throw out, with the lessons that you learn, because every year is different, because Mother Nature is different. But there's just a great satisfaction to get to the end of a crop and look across the field and say, well, gosh, we sold this many. And this is how we handle this problem or that problem. And I have quite a stack of journals that I write this stuff down in so that I can remember. But, if you're going to choose something that you want to do with your life, do something that means something to you. And this truly has meant everything to me.
Well, Jerry, thanks again for the tour and all this great information. If you want to find out more about Jerry's Gardenias, what's the website?
The website is going to be jerrysgardenias.com.
And if you want to start purchasing Jerry's Gardenias through the BloomNet Wholesale Plant Program, please visit www.bloomnet.net/plants. And if you're a NAPCO customer, visit napcoimports.com and check out how to purchase wholesale plants through that website. So thanks again.
All right. Thank you.